Hi there, my name is Danielle Rocky, and today I will be doing an activity based off the book Where the Wild Things Are. This book is considered classic literature and was one of my favorite books as a child. The book Where the Wild Things Are was written and illustrated by Maurice Sendak. We are going to do an activity today that involves retelling the story. We will first read the story and discuss it, and then the students will be given puppets. We will then reread the story, allowing the students to use their puppets to recreate the book. Students will then be allowed to recreate or create the story on their own while the teacher observes and asks questions as needed. The students would normally be allowed to use any materials from the Block Center to create a jungle. However, since I am shooting this video at home, we will be using Legos. The materials we will use include the book, the puppets made out of popsicle sticks, and character printouts, and Legos, or any Block Center materials if you're in the classroom. Let's get started. Hi kids. Today we're going to read the book Where the Wild Things Are. So who can tell me what this is called? Does anybody know what this part of the book is called? Yes?
The cover.
The front cover? What about this?
The end.
No? Yeah?
Back cover?
Back cover, you don't have to. What about this? The binding. What does the binding do?
It keeps the book together.
It holds the pages together. Does anybody know what the person who writes the words is called? Yeah?
The author.
What about the person who draws the pictures? Yeah?
The illustrator.
The illustrator. So this book is called Where the Wild Things Are. This book was written and illustrated by Maurice Sendak.
Is it a scary book?
It's not scary.
Good, I don't like scary books.
That's good. Yeah?
I've seen it in my library, but I've never checked it out before.
Oh, it's a good book. It used to be my favorite.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Where the Wild Things Are. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another, his mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew. And grew. And grew. Until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day. And in and out of weeks, and almost over a year, to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars, and gnashed their terrible teeth, and rolled their terrible eyes, and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all, and made him king of all the wild things. "And now," cried Max, "let the wild rumpus start." Yes?
I don't think there's much words.
Not on those pages. Nope, but there's words here now. "Now stop," Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around from far away and across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said, "No." The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. and sailed back over a year, and in and out of weeks, and through a day, and into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him.
My mom doesn't let us eat in our room.
No, my mom doesn't either. And it was still hot. The end. Yes?
That was a really good.
You like the book? How do you think your mommies would feel if you guys were acting naughty like Max?
Mad.
Mad? Would your mommy send you to bed without supper?
I think.
You think so? What about your mommy?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. What about yours?
I'll tell her that's against the law.
Yeah. What about yours? Yeah. Your mommy wouldn't let you eat supper? What types of animals would be on an island that you guys would sail to? What?
What?
A horse on your island?
A unicorn.
A unicorn? What?
An elephant and a horse.
Wow. That would be a pretty magical, island you would have. What about yours?
Dragons.
A
Dragons.
Pegasus.
Wow.
And Pegasus.
Very cool.
My Little Pony.
So do you guys want to act out, retell the story? I can tell it again. You guys can use the puppets that I made you. Yeah? Okay, I'm going to pass some puppets out. Can you pass this down to your friends? You can keep this one. Pass this one down. Here you go. Pass that one down. Here you go. Here you
Can I have that
go.
one?
And you can have that one. Everybody should have 2 puppets. Do you all have 2 puppets?
I do.
Yeah.
You have the Wild Things? Who has Max? You have Max? That's a very important job. So now, while I'm reading the story, you guys can act out with your puppets.
Excuse me?
Yep.
Are we gonna use the Legos today?
Yep, we're going to use the Legos in just a little bit. After we read it this time, you guys are going to tell it again, but I'm not going to be reading the story this time. You guys are going to have to tell me the story. Okay?
What are mine's names?
You can give them names.
Bob and Sue.
I like them. Are you ready? Can you put your pen down?
Can I finish writing this?
I'm going to start now, okay? The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind, who has Max? Yeah? Can you make him make mischief? And another. His mother called him Wild Thing. I'll be the mother. Wild Thing. And Max said, I'll eat you up. Can you say that as Max?
I'll eat you up.
So he was sent to bed without eating anything. Can you send him to his room? That very night in Max's room, a forest grew and grew and grew until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through the night and day. Let's make Max sail now, Lux. Can you make him sail? Ooh, I like your boats. And in and out of weeks and almost over a year to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, do you guys all have your wild things ready? They roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. And Max said, "Be still." Tell them all to be still.
Be still.
And tame them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all.
The most
wild thing of all.
And made him king of all the wild things. And now, cried Max, let the wild rumpus start. You guys can all rumpus now. Wow.
Hey.
They're swinging from trees. Are your wild things swinging from trees? Oh, Max is riding on a wild thing in this page.
Go.
Wow. Now stop, Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat, so he gave up being king of where the wild things are.
Well, what happened to all of them?
To all of who? The wild
The
things?
wild things.
They're gonna have to stay on the island. They'll have to find a new king.
I can be the king.
Okay, that sounds like fun. She could be the queen.
Yeah.
But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said, "No."
No.
The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. Is Max on his boat? And sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day. And into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. And it was still hot. The end. All right, you guys, do you guys want to try doing it now without me reading the story? You guys can retell me the story?
Sure.
Yeah?
Can we tell you any story we want?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
What?
I forgot it.
You forgot what?
The story.
The story. Well, I'm going to leave the book right in the middle of the table for you guys to look at so that you guys can use your puppets. And what else do you guys think we could use to build things out of the book?
Lego.
The Legos? Yeah, we could put the Legos on the table and you guys can use the pictures and the Legos and your puppets and you guys can all work together and tell the story together.
Excuse me?
What?
What if somebody has them all?
Well, we can try to share with our friends.
Okay.
Okay? Does that sound nice? What do you think we could do if somebody has them all?
Sure.
Yeah?
I wanna give
nicely.
this a-
Ask nicely, yeah.
I want to let someone else have a shot.
That's
with it.
very kind of you. So I'll get the Legos out and you guys can go ahead and get started.
I'll be Max. All right.
You guys can tell the story together. You guys can tell me the story.
Don't fall. Please, no, Lisa. I need this. Can you please pass that? Thank you.
Lux, what are you building?
A jump
Well, how did he end up in the jungle?
by his room.
His room? Is anybody going to build his room?
Oh, I can build it.
I'm going to go to the jungle.
How does he get to the jungle from his room?
Using a boat.
He rides on a boat? Does anybody want to build the boat for him to ride on?
I'll build a boat.
You will? Okay.
I need the pink ones. All of
Excuse
them.
me?
What?
He was going on an ocean. Somebody might want to build the ocean.
Yeah, somebody might want to build the ocean. You're right. I really like the jungle you're building.
It's like a jungle thing. Jungle
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Or jungle forest.
Amy, what are you building?
The trees that they swing on.
Oh, you're gonna build the jungle too, like Lux is?
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I'm building a big one. I need this.
Rachel, I really like your boat. Can you tell me about that gray part that's sticking up from it?
This is the
Sail.
thing.
The sail?
Yeah,
The
that's
sail on the boat? Oh, I like the way you use that to make a sail. It's very nice.
I'm not done yet.
Wow. That's awesome. I really like the trees that you made for your monsters to swing from. Your wild
Some out of
things.
these.
Oh, very nice.
Almost done. I just need the finishing touch. And done.
Can I have that white
Look, your
one,
jungle
please?
is so very tall.
Jungles are very big.
Yeah. Do you think that they're bigger than oceans?
Yes.
Yeah? What about you, Rachel? Do you think the jungle is bigger than the ocean?
No.
No? Scott, it looks like your room is unfinished.
It is. All my pieces keep going somewhere else.
You're hogging.
Well, how do you think you could get
I'm
more
hogging them all?
pieces?
Yeah.
Lux, can I have that blue piece at the very bottom?
This?
Yes,
Why?
for the floor of the room.
Okay.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, here, why don't you let me help you? I'll lift it up and you can take the bottom piece off.
It might stick to... Okay, I'll hold it. Lift.
Oh no! What happened?
Thank you.
It's fine.
Oh, it's okay? That was nice of you to share with Scott.
I can rebuild it.
You can rebuild the jungle?
Yes. As long as I be careful.
Does
with
anybody want to look at the book to look at the pictures?
it. No, thank you.
The sailboat. Rachel built a very nice sailboat. And the wild rumpus.
I'm always trying to make...
Did you guys build a spot for the wild things to have a wild rumpus?
Ooh. This.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Like the jungle gym.
Swing set.
So who has Max?
Me.
Where do you think Max is going to start?
In his room.
In his room. So he's in his room. Why is he in his room?
Because he's grounded.
Why did he get in trouble?
Oh,
Yeah?
because he was too wild.
He was being wild in his costume.
Yeah.
So his mom sent him to his room, right?
And he probably broke something.
Yeah, he could have. My mommy would feel very sad if I broke something. What about your mommy?
I think that jungle is going to fall.
So he's in his room, and what happens in his room?
It turns into my jungle.
It turns into a forest.
Yeah.
And then what does Max do?
He sails the sea.
He sails the seeds, so let's put Max on the boat. He's on the boat, and he's sailing.
Sailing, sailing, and sailing.
Do you guys remember how long he sailed?
Almost a year.
Almost over a year. Good memory, Lux.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your manners.
You're welcome.
And when does he get? He gets to the place where the wild things are. And what do the wild things do? Do you remember?
They growl.
They roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth. Yeah.
And then they made him king.
And then they made him king. Why did they make him king?
Because he had a crown.
He stared him down.
Because he stared at him. And because he had a crown. You're right. Lots of kings do wear crowns. Very good, Amy. And they had the wild rumpus. So why don't we take our wild things and put them in the jungle that Lux built and that Amy built together. And we can let them all have a wild rumpus together.
Hey.
What do you guys think they're doing during their wild rumpus?
Playing.
Playing? Do you think they're singing any songs?
They're hanging from the vine.
Yeah. What about, do you think they're singing any songs?
Yeah.
Yeah? What songs do you think they're singing?
Monster, monster.
Monster, monster. That's probably a good song for the wild things.
And they're singing Wild Thing.
Oh, I've never heard that song before.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Wow, your wild things are all the way at the
Scott
top
can
of the
sing
jungle.
Wild Thing for you.
He can? And so then he's in there and they have the rumpus and then what?
Go to bed!
He tells them all to stop. And what does he tell the...
Go to bed.
To go to bed.
Without even eating.
And they all go to bed, and then what does Max decide? What does he
leave.
feel? Why does he
leave.
decide to leave? What is he feeling?
Lonely.
He feels lonely and sad and all alone. He wants to go be with people that love him. Who do you think loves Max?
His mommy.
His mommy,
And
yeah.
his sister.
And his sister?
He has one.
He might. Amy thinks he has a sister. So he decides to what? He decides to
Go home.
go home. So
the
how does he get
jungle.
back home?
It wasn't
On his
me.
boat.
He sails on his boat all the way back to his room. And
This
how long
is
does
the
it
little hideout.
how long does it take him to get home? Do you guys remember?
Over another year.
Over a year and in and out of weeks.
How old is Max?
I don't know. What do you think? Let's look at his picture.
Maybe 7.
Maybe you think he's 7?
Yeah.
He looks like he could be 7. What do you think,
Or
Amy?
maybe in 1st grade.
I think if he was 7, then he's like 9 when he gets back.
Yeah?
Look how high
I think
he
his
is
mom
now.
missed him.
His mom probably did miss him. Would your mom miss you if you were gone for 2 years?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I would miss my mom if I was gone for
I
2
would be
years.
looking for him.
You
Up
would?
on the top of the jungle.
Is it
Yeah.
because you have a really cool mom?
Yeah. So if you were Max's mommy, what would you do if he was gone? You would
Okay.
go look for him at the top of the jungle, and he gets all the way home. And what did Max's mommy leave for him in his room? Supper. What's supper? Does anybody know?
It's like dinner.
It's like dinner. You're right. And do you guys think he was happy that there was supper there waiting
Yeah.
for
I
him?
think he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did he eat in the jungle?
I don't know. Do you think he ate in the jungle?
No.
What types of foods do you think he could find in the jungles to
A
eat?
banana.
Bananas, fruit off the trees?
Yes.
Yeah, like monkeys.
It was pulling. The natural reaction. As you can see, the students had fun with this activity. I do believe that the retelling of the story objective was met, as well as letting the children use their imaginations to create their own version of the story. The strength of this activity was the teamwork used to recreate the story, and the students liked using the puppets and having a concrete material to help them learn about the storyline and plot of the story. The next follow-up activity that I would do is to create a felt board that we can hang in our reading center so that the children can create stories and scenes freely throughout choice time. Next time I would make sure that I had enough puppets that each child can have their own set of characters of the book. So to make sure that we are not fighting over characters. All in all, I think this was a fun activity and that the children enjoyed it. Thank you.